Hi y'all, Ryan here, coming back with the second video of the So You Want to Transfer series, where we're looking at the transfer process, outlining it, and giving pointers on how to approach it. For today's video, we're going to be going over transferring credits, how do you tell which of your classes can transfer over, what research can help you, etc., etc. The general outline is this. We're gonna go over 5 things. We're gonna first contextualize credit transferring. I'm gonna talk about what the sentiment is around transferring credits and what problems are associated with it. Then I'm gonna go into how to find transfer articulation agreements. I'm going to give a 5-step general step-by-step plan on how to transfer credits generally. Then I'm going to go into resources, who can help, and what resources can help you. So first, we're going to contextualize credit transferring. So from the Government Accountability Office in 2017, they published this report on how to reduce challenges for students who want to transfer and getting their credits transferred over. So they said, quote, using Education's, which is the Department of Education's transfer data, the Government Accountability Office estimated that students who transferred from 2004 to 2009 lost on average an estimated 43% of their credits. And that credit loss varied depending on the transfer path. So that's a bit of an intimidating quote. What does it mean? It basically means that the extent that you transfer your credits between your old institution and new one, it can affect the time and cost for completing your degree. If you're taking more classes, you're ending up with a lot of credits. Some of those obviously won't transfer over. So how do you mitigate this problem? Well, the Government Accountability Office identified 2 solutions to just make it to help students not lose their credits. You either increase the students' access to information regarding transferring, or you help make that information digestible to students and their families. But as a general disclosure, and this is realistically, unfortunately, losing credits is normal, but even still, it's worth saving as much as you possibly can. So one way that we outlined in the last video was transfer articulation agreements, and they help tremendously. But the problem with transfer articulation agreements is what the Government Accountability Office found was that 29% of schools nationwide did not have like a list of schools that they had transfer agreements like just out there. And those schools in that same vein don't clearly disclose those transfer agreements. The Government Accountability Office recommended that schools fix this, but according to that quote, as of March 2020, Education continues to disagree with this recommendation because they're basically saying, oh, we're already required to disclose this list, and they just don't want to do it. So in general, where would you want to find transfer articulation agreements? So collegetransfer.net has like a large database of transfer agreements, but another way to look at it to find them is searching your community college and for the 4 year that you're interested in, search their websites for them. You have to go on a deep dive with them. But as a rule of thumb, typically colleges in the local area have them with each other. In San Diego, we have UCSD and SDSU, and the community colleges have their own transfer agreements with those 2 universities. So here's some examples of where you can find them. This is San Diego Mesa College. They have their transfer agreement nicely laid out, and you can find it. It's nice. It's very nice. Very, very nice. This is a unique one. For the San Diego Community College District in general, they have transfer agreements as associate's degrees. So you can have there's an associate degree program at the community college, and you'll get an associate's, and you can transfer those classes into a 4 year. This page specifically is for CSUs, not UCs. But again, to be frank, most colleges don't have them listed in an obvious place. You kind of have to go out of your way to look for them. So this is all nice and all, Brian, but you might be asking yourself, how do you actually transfer your courses? Well, I have a 5-step guide that I hope works for you guys. These 5 steps are how generally you can transfer credits. the way you actually go about them in reality, you might not follow these steps accordingly. But I mean, the first step is obviously you want to decide on the degree program that you want to go for in the 4 year that you're interested in. And once you do that, you have to go to step 2. You got to find and understand the transfer policies at the university you're interested in, because in addition to transferring courses, they have all these requirements. Like you have to have a minimum of X amount of credits at that institution. You have to have some GEs that you might have to take. It all varies from college to college, and you have to understand it. But once you do step 1 and step 2, step 3, if you can, create a credit transfer plan. So it's just basically like a class schedule at your time in your community college. You just plan out the courses that you're going to take, just verify that you can transfer them, like look at a transfer agreement, and then just go from there. And to make sure that your credit transfer plan is legit, you'd probably want to get them checked by an admissions advisor at the community college, at the 4-year institution that you're interested in. That's step 4. And if everything's kosher, everything's straight away, you're all good, go on to step 5, do the coursework, or do more coursework and apply to transfer. The application process will be covered in the next video, not by me, side note. But yeah. So with all of these things in mind, what resources are available for you to help transfer? Because it's a daunting process, and it's never bad to seek help for these kinds of things. And there do exist people and programs that are there literally because this aspect of transferring is so difficult. So first of all, we're going to go over who can help you figure out how to transfer credits. Not all community colleges have the money or the resources to have this, but I know for San Diego Community College District, they have a transfer center at their community college. So they just they offer like transfer counseling and stuff. It's all listed in that page. You can probably like read it yourself. But it's just a bunch of resources and people that's prospective transfer students from the San Diego community colleges can use. Not uniquely, but admissions offices at your college of interest, that's another resource you should go to, because they're more knowledgeable about how to transfer at their own college. You could go to your community college advisors and say, hey, I want to transfer here, and they probably have information, like they probably know how to transfer, but the admissions offices at the college of your interest, it's their job. They should know their own transfer policies, and they should be able to help you with that. Uniquely, for example, University of San Diego, like they have a dedicated prospective transfer applicant counselor, and it'd be nice if the 4-year that you're interested in would have that too. But generally, just be on the lookout for those kinds of things. So aside from who can help you, let's go over resources to help you independently figure out how to transfer credits. Though some universities, like the UC schools, they use some of these websites. They put their transfer agreements in these websites. And exemplifying that specifically is assist.org. It's probably, this is specifically for universities in California, but it's probably your best resource when it comes to transferring, when it works for you. Because as you can see on the left box in the middle, the search below for articulation agreements, it already has the transfer articulation agreements. You just have to enter them, select the institution, and it'll list the transfer agreements it has with other institutions. And it'll also have a list of transferable courses for your community college that can transfer to others. Again, like I said before, UC schools and CSUs, they typically refer you to the site to help you plan and transfer your process. So it would be very prudent of you to use this. Next, UC specifically have something like assist.org too. This is UCs in general. They have a transfer pathways guide. You basically, for this resource at the bottom, you select your community college in California. Oh, I should mention this specifically for community colleges in California. You choose a degree pathway that you're interested in. Like, let's say I have an example slide. Like, let's say I go to San Diego City Community College. I'm interested in the psychology pathway. This UC Transfers Pathways website will provide you a list of courses that are transferable in the middle. what universities those classes can transfer to. You'll see at the bottom in the middle, and then what requirements those classes satisfy. The next resource that you should use in general, if the university offers it, are transfer admissions planners. These are going to help immensely when you're planning out coursework or a transfer pathway. It practically just allows you to do all of the things you were able to do before with like assist.org or like the UC transfers pathway. It gives a list of courses that are transferable. It'll ask you what requirements those courses easily satisfied. University of California has them. SDSU has a transfer admissions planner like website too. And like, again, it's basically like the assist.org. It's basically the UC transfers pathways guide. It's very nice that they have it accessible, but I just want you to keep in mind, however, that regarding transfer admissions planners or abbreviated tab, not every 4-year university or college has a tab for prospective transfers to use. So be careful. In those cases, assist.org or looking for the transfer agreements, consulting with admissions advisors and counselors at both your community college, if it helps, and the university of interest. Those things will help immensely. So in summary, to repeat everything that we've covered, we first covered how to we contextualize credit transferring. That we saw that most students, unfortunately, inevitably, when they're transferring, they lose some of their credits. And a lot of the 4 years that are here in the world, they don't necessarily list their transfer agreements like properly. Like, it's not obvious. You have to go out of your way to find it. And that's what we talked about next, where to find transfer articulation agreements. After that, I gave you 5 steps on how to generally transfer, from deciding what degree program you're gonna go for, you gotta understand the transfer policies of the university you're interested in. When you formulate a transfer plan, get it checked by an admissions advisor at the university you're interested in, and then you actually do the coursework and then transfer. And then for the last 2, I went over who can help you in your transfer process, and then I talked about resources to help you, but those resources are not comprehensive. There are other people and other resources not listed that can help you. I know for sure if you have friends that transferred, they will be a very valuable resource because they've been through the process. Other transfer students are really, really good. But yeah, thanks again for watching. If this presentation went by too quick, please feel free to contact this email or on our Instagram, spaces at UCSD. It was a pleasure finding this information, researching everything, compiling it, presenting this info to you. Again, this is what for years, this is the kind of things that they need to present their information digestibly in an obvious place. And I hope it helps everything that I've said so far, because transferring can be very, very, very difficult. But that's enough from me. Please stay tuned for the next 2 videos in the series, and I hope to see you all around. Thanks so much.